And that would be if, knowing what you two are, knowing what you two have, and knowing what you two feel, you didn't get married.
And we're back.
Glass full.
Glass full.
Of?
As always.
Oh, dear.
What did you think of the magical movie moment?
I think it's a very strong speech made by a woman who, overall in the film, she doesn't play a massive part. So that speech makes it even more...
Yes. That's a very nuanced, and I like that. That's good. That the fact that she doesn't have very much to say, but what she does say, oh my God.
Yes, you don't even give her a second
Yep.
thought or look, really,
That's
until
right.
she says
Smacks
that.
you in the chops, yes.
Take that, Spencer.
Yes.
Yes, but...
Take that to the white patriarchy sisters. I can't really say that as a white man, can I?
Well, you can, but everyone will just roll their eyes and look at you and shake their heads.
But I'm with them. I'm an ally.
No, that's good. I think being an ally is a good thing.
Yes.
You need men and women being allies.
That's right. And you know what?
United.
You know what? Like, how can I say this? Like, I respect the fact that women should be able to say whatever they like, you know, in this Me Too movement and everything like that, and push in what direction they're trying to go for. But I think they need men also to talk to other men to say, guys, come on. You know, because I don't think a lot of men listen to women.
That's not...
No, I
not
think
true.
I think they would like to give the impression that they do, but do you know what I mean? Like when a man grows up,
I think they listen.
Well,
I'm
talking about Australian culture here.
No, I'm just about to say something. I think they listen.
Sorry, I wasn't listening. Go on. I couldn't help that. That was so good. Sorry, go on.
What I think is that men listen, but they deem what they're hearing unimportant.
Right.
Not as important as what someone else might say, like another man.
And misrepresentative of reality.
Or just that, that's...
Their reality.
It's like when a small child comes up to a grown-up and says something,
Yes.
they might go, oh, that's just a child saying
Yes.
that. I'm listening, honey, it's okay.
In a patronising sort of way.
And we shouldn't do that to our kids, and we shouldn't
do that
do it to our
wives.
women.
Yes. Yeah.
But
No,
yeah.
well said. Well said.
So I don't think it's the not listening part, it's the not perceiving
Did
how
that
important
come
it
across
is.
as patronising? I just realised.
You're on a roll tonight,
I
aren't
am
you?
terrible. Look, honestly...
That got political really quick.
You know, I was just sitting there. I genuinely
We shouldn't have
think...
conversation between these movies anymore.
You know me very well. You do, don't you? Like, you probably know me better than most people. And
I'd like to think so.
I'm not a patronising person at heart, am I?
Just for fun.
It's only for fun. It's only for a goddamn lot of fun.
Just for a giggle.
But it's not in real heart. It's like, you know, because it's power against... It's
Paul?
power against the power. You know, like you truth to power. And as far as I'm concerned, you know, the people at the bottom need help. And if you're a strong person, you need to be able to help those people.
I think it's very important. You okay now?
I got that off my chest, yes.
We're sorry, everyone. We have big heartfelt chats in between.
Look, no, not only that. Both of us have had pretty average days. I've had a shocker. But anyway, so I come to this with all sorts of emotional baggage.
It's
tonight.
the weekend thing, the release of the week.
Oh, this is why Fridays are always problematic, because you haven't had that day to detox.
Saturdays only, I think, for us in the future.
I think so, because the Friday nights are a little bit spiky.
So probably why this is brought up is because we're actually looking at Haine, which is a French movie that hate, and it's been put up by Kelly from a non-mum happy hour.
Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Kelly. I hope your podcast is doing awesomely well.
And how's Tennessee going? Everybody speaking correctly, are they?
Oh, gosh.
Are they all talking the way they should be?
I'll never live that down, will I? They won't let me in there.
I will never let you let that down, no.
I'm sorry that you're not allowed here.
Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad.
We know you're that Aussie. You're not allowed in our state.
And we just, in one foul swoop, we've lost the entire United States.
I'm sorry, I suck. I'm sorry. I apologise to everyone in America. They just went, and they don't know why.
Yes. Like somebody walked over their vocal grave.
That's it. It's like when an Aussie tries to do a really bad accent, even like Ireland or something, and every Irish person
Or Scottish.
and they all just shudder and they go, "Oh, it's an Australian trying to do an accent again," or something.
Just smile at them, and they'll go away. Perhaps.
Again, it's just the head shake and the roll of the eyes.
Just roll the eyes.
Anyway, so Kelly put this up.
Just talk to them in a patronising way and say they don't understand.
So this is a 1995 French film.
Yes.
And it's in black and white.
Did you enjoy it? Are you going to do the synopsis first?
I was going to. Just so that people
Can I
know
just
what
interrupt you halfway through?
Well, don't you always?
We'll see. Go for it.
Oh, really? When an Arab French youth is arrested...
Arab. Did you say Arab or Arid?
Do you want a belt?
I mean, was he, Do
you want a verbal belt?
Was he particularly dry? I mean, what was going on there?
Wow. Do you want to let me finish?
Go on.
When an Arab French youth is arrested and beaten unconscious by police, a riot breaks out in the poor and often violent suburbs outside of Paris. 3 friends, a Jewish boy, an African French boy, and an Arab French boy, wander aimlessly in the aftermath of the riot as they all come to grips with the brutal incident. Things heat up when one of them tells the others he has a policeman's gun. And if their friend dies, he will use it on a policeman.
Yes.
And is it over a 24-hour period?
Yes, it is. A little bit more than a 24. It's probably about 28.
It's basically these boys from like, I don't know, is it 10 o'clock in the morning till like 6 the following morning?
Yep. At least 24 hours.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's a bit more than that, but yeah. So did you enjoy it?
It was an enjoyable film, but it's one of those thinker films. It's not a sit back, just watch people go pew, pew, pew at each other. It's a complete opposite where you actually have to think and pay attention, and especially to the dialogue. The dialogue I found was very important, and because it's in French and it's subtitles...
You had to really work at it.
Well, not just that, but because one, you're reading it and you're wanting to look at their body language and facial expressions at the same time, but you're also wanting to process what they're saying.
And on top of that, and like, because it's leading with such a strong title, like Hate, you kind of... Like, the whole time I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, is this going to go Romper Stomper? Is it? No, well, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
like,
no, I know.
It's cast in very much a similar... For those people who haven't seen Romper Stomper, and I'm sure America has probably come up with a similar... But it's an Australian film with...
Russell Crowe.
Thank you.
No, I have seen it, but I watched it at a young age when I was a bit more, I can't deal with this.
And it's a very, very gritty... it's basically about Australians, young Australian youths that are... with toxic masculinity surging through their veins, and they've got the whole hate speech, neo-Nazi, the whole thing, very applicable to today, except they weren't after Muslims, they were after Asians, who were the boogeymen of the day. But, wait another 20 years and it won't be the Muslims, it'll be somebody else. Probably Democrats.
People are always looking for other people to blame for what's happening in their lives. And rather than saying, well... maybe our political leaders aren't helping out enough. We go, oh, well, it's these people because they're taking all their jobs because they've only just got here or whatever.
Yep.
So that's what Romper Stomper's about, but it's also what Hate's about. But I watched Romper Stomper at quite a young age, so it actually scarred me a little bit. I don't like the film purely because
it's a bit of a once was warriors kind of film for you, is it?
Oh, it was just...
And I say that in the term of you'll never watch it ever again, and it killed a little part of your soul. Well,
the problem is I was quite young, so it scarred me a little bit because I was like, oh, I'm not ready to deal with these sorts of things at this point of time. I think I was, I was a teenager. So when, if I watched it now, obviously I'd have a different mindset about it. And I probably should watch it again. But that's that little teenage me going, don't do it, it was so horrible the first time, why would you do it again?
You'd probably be able to cruise through it quite easily.
I'm sure now I'd watch it and it wouldn't be an issue, but it's the nostalgia of what happened back then.
But look, you're right. I mean, it did have that very much the Romper Stomper feel about it, that Haine.
Actually, to tell you the truth, I thought this movie was shot, the dialogue and the way it was shot, I found much...
Well, it's
more artistic and interesting than what Romper Stomper was.
Yeah, but it's a bit hard because it's in you're having to read the text. Is the script actually that they are actually speaking as artistic, or is it somebody who's really good at subtitles is actually giving it more depth to the movie than it actually
Surely
is?
not, because everywhere France was saying it was amazing. It was, France really loved this film.
Well, it's certainly like Paris has been having a great deal of trouble over the last few years. These kind of riots that have been going on have been escalating.
Well, the director-writer, Matthew
Right up to the last
Kassovitz,
election. I don't know if they're still going now. I think things might have quietened down a little bit, but they were certainly building there at one stage of the game.
I think they've still kind of got... they haven't had any massive riots in this year that I'm aware of. They've had lots of other things going on. But Matthew Kassovitz says he's actually thinking about doing a second... now would be the time to do a second film.
Yep.
And, that's right. That's what I mean. You're seeing the repeat, and it's really sad because if you know your history, surely you learn from your mistakes and you don't repeat them and you try and fix them. But obviously we're just going through the cycle. So
how do you fix it? Seriously, how do you fix something like that when you've got 3 young youths like that who are so full of hate, who are so full of... And the hate...
Well, it's
May
funny.
I?
Yeah, go for it.
May
I won't
I?
interrupt, sorry.
All right. No, it's not that it's an interruption thing, but it just hit me then. The hate, it should have been called the fear.
No, I don't think so. Because they were discussing the hate. Hate breeds hate. The dialogue stands for it.
No, a lot of people think that hate breeds hate. Fear breeds hate.
No, but particularly for this film, the boys were talking about hate breeding hate. And all the kids being brought up to hate, because that's why they're in these slums, because of these people, and you should hate them.
And
it's your right. No, I'm just saying this is how it's all being pushed on to the younger kids. Like in that shot where the 3 boys, Vince, Hubert, and Said, just because they got nowhere to hang out because the gym's been burnt in the riots. Said, sorry, I might pronounce. Everyone knows I can't pronounce things to save myself.
It's okay.
They're hanging out with a young guy who's probably 10 or 12.
Yep.
And they're starting, he's starting to learn
learning the lingo. Yep.
So all the young kids are learning from the older kids, and it's all getting passed on. And I'm thinking, it's a
Did you notice cycle. One constant through that entire movie?
Which one are you referring? What are you referring to?
Mature men. Where were they?
Though I assume they would have been at work.
No. Where in the film? Where was the presence of mature men in the film?
There are only policemen were the mature ones.
Yep.
So I'm assuming that they're either at work. No, because one guy said Vince's father was in jail or something, and Hubert's dad was in jail, and Saeed's father was dead.
Yes.
So that's what, they're either dead or in jail, or they're policemen. As in up in the other part of Paris.
That's why it should have been called The Fear.
I get what you're saying.
I know what you're saying.
I get what you're saying, but I think the title's appropriate.
Oh, it is, but it should
especially because it fits in with your dialogue that Hewitt's talking about. Cool. You remember when they're talking about the toilet?
I'm not arguing that, and you are correct in that. I'm not going to argue that, but it's not the cause root.
Okay.
What it is if you like, the title of it is this is the product of the environment. They go to the trouble of showing the grandmother looking after the kids very poorly, and she's doing the very best she can.
Oh yes, no, I saw that.
But she's 1 foot in the grave sort of thing, and she's barely got any kind of control over them, and it's an extremely feminised kind of environment, and yet he's just, he doesn't respect it.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
I know, I could see that.
Yeah, yes, he doesn't respect that environment. He doesn't respect what those women are trying to do and what they're trying to bring.
No, he's just dwelling on his own...
fear.
Or hate. Boom.
But this is what gets to the core of...
I'm not saying... he's already been through it. Yeah. He's been through... The fear has occurred. He's now at hate. You see the fear, like when he's pointing the gun at the skinhead and Hubert's going, just shoot him. Go on, shoot him. And then you can see the fear.
Did you like Hubert?
I did.
He's a complicated character.
I thought he was incredibly complicated. You could see him swinging from one to the other, but you could see why he's swinging too.
Yep.
Because you actually, you can see what's happening in his head.
Yep.
And
he was trying to avoid